For my war movie project, I watched and analyzed the 2006 film Letters from Iwo Jima. This war film genre is a combination of World War II and New Vision. The visual evidence and combat in this film is clear as well as deadly. It is obvious who the two different sides are, Americans versus Japanese. However, it is hard to find a side to root for. Being American and watching this movie through the eyes of a Japanese soldier made it extremely difficult to tell who the good guys are. There was a personal effect. I watched this film with my freshman brother and asked who he was rooting for. He said, "I don't know. I want the soldier in general to survive. But, I'm American." This difficult and personal decision falls under the genre, New Vision. Moreover, the authority in this film is more similar to the authority in the World War II genre. The older men, for example General Kirabashi, are higher ranked and trustworthy. Yet, there are some instances where the main character, Saigo, who's a low-ranked soldier, steps up and takes leadership. This is an example of authority seen in New Vision films. In addition, the purpose is extremely clear in this movie. The Japanese soldiers' job was to defend the island Iwo Jima, so the Americans can't set up base to easily attack the mainland. Another one of their tasks was to die with honor and to die while fighting. One of these tasks is clear, and as well a purpose for a World War II film. But the purpose to die on the island of Iwo Jima is very questionable. It's uncomfortable how suicidal the Japanese troops were. Therefore, that purpose falls under the genre, the New Vision. Within 10 years of the releasement of this film in 2006, there were 3 events that possibly affected the production of this movie. One of the events occurred in 2001 on 9/11. 2 hijacked planes flew into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Centers. A 3rd plane flew into the Pentagon, and a 4th plane crashed into the rural Pennsylvania. This is one of the worst terrorist attacks against the United States. With over 3,000 deaths from these attacks, Americans were angry and quickly decided that the one thing they needed for justice was to hunt Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind 9/11, and to kill him. Americans had an extremely clear purpose. Like Letters from Iwo Jima, the Japanese soldiers were fighting for a distinct purpose, to prevent the Americans from taking this island, so they can't attack the mainland. Another event that impacted this film occurred on January 29, 2002. President George W. Bush branded Iran, Iraq, and North Korea as an axis of evil. They threatened the peace of the world. The U.S. was not afraid to wage war against a country who develops weapons of mass destruction. This good versus evil theme reminds me of the dinner scene when General Kirabashi was having dinner with his friends in the American Army. One of his friends and his wife asked Kirabashi what would happen if Japan and the U.S. became at war. He laughed, as if it wouldn't happen, but then he responded that he would fight for his country with honor. Yes, this movie has 2 obvious sides, but like I previously stated, the combat is confusing, and it is hard to root for a side, unlike in 2001 and 2002, after the terrorist attacks. The 3rd and final event was in 2003, called Abu Ghraib. During the war in Iraq, personnel of the U.S. Army and the CIA tortured, abused, and did much more to the detainees in Abu Ghraib prison. It was difficult for Americans to believe that us Americans would do such a thing. Some of the actions were authorized, some weren't. This reminds me when 2 Japanese soldiers surrendered and were with a group of American soldiers. 2 American troops were asked to watch the Japanese men. Without any authorization, the Americans shot the 2 defenseless Japanese men. This event definitely influenced the authority in this film. I recommend this film for people who have a great interest in war and American history. It gives the viewer an opportunity to see what it's like through the eyes of the opponent of America. So, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this.